Okay, I'm doing another one. It's been a while. I've actually had a few ideas rolling around. I keep thinking about doing them, but then I think of the futility of doing anything and I give up. But no, I press on. Still exist. Let's continue. So this one is not going to be popular. This one is about bullying. I'm going to give you kids the real solution to bullying. I saw this mamby-pamby video with this guy who claimed that the way to get bullies to stop bullying you is to pretend that it doesn't bother you or to not let it bother you. And, that's a nice theory for intellectual people. And, he gave an example where he had some girl bully him on stage and, he complimented her till she stopped. Alright. In this real world, it is impossible to do this. Now, I don't know if things have changed since I was in school. I hear the kids these days, there's more bullying awareness now, so that might help a little bit. And it seems like kids today maybe aren't as D-baggy as they used to be as far as in their relations with the weaker students, because there are strong and weak students, and basically the point of this video essentially is that it's a jungle out there. It's always a jungle out there. We, as much as I don't like to admit it or don't want to believe it, we're animals. People are animals, just like every other animal species. We have the ability to be more than animals, but most of the time people choose to be animals. So, in the animal world, there's power games being played all the time. And in school, people are learning to play those power games for the first time. Because there's a lot of competition in school for, boyfriends and girlfriends. And, it's the first time people are trying to make their name for themselves. They're trying to create an identity for themselves of being cool. You're forming your identity, and you want to start off being cool when it starts to matter. Because, that's when we have hormones raging, and I think people are especially petty in junior high because we haven't learned, I guess, the art of being more sort of deceitful and underhanded about going about getting members of the opposite sex interested in and downplaying our competition. So it's much more direct and much uglier in junior high school. And so, when you're getting bullied, if you have that ability to shut off other people, then I guess, it's a good idea. I mean, if you think that, if you can manage to see bullies as stupid and that their insults don't affect you, then fine, that works. But for most people, like me, that was not an effective strategy. My dad always told me when I was younger, and I would come to him and tell him about how I was bullied in school, and he'd be like, just, let it slide off your back, not, don't engage in it. He told me the same thing that this bullying expert told the kids, don't let it bother you. Just don't let it bother you. Not so easy. When you are one of the weak kids and you have something obvious that can be made fun of, it could be a lot of different things, you're not going to hear the end of it until you make yourself known as a force. And, the only way you're going to be known as a force is if you lay down the law. And how do you lay down the law in an animal society? Sorry, parents, I know you're not going to like this, but you fight. You fight and you win. And you win with violence. Yes, violence is the way. Sorry, parents, I know you hate this, but you are not going to be respected as a student in your school unless you show other kids you are not going to take crap. You are not going to put up with it. You are going to stand up for yourself, and you are going to make others feel pain if they inflict emotional pain on you. That's what worked for me. The only thing that worked for me. I took crap upon crap upon crap. All 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. You know when it stopped? A girl was giving me crap in junior high school, and she just kept ragging on me in class. And it's especially hard to deal with bullying when people have their gaggle of friends who are around laughing. You know, they join the bully in laughing because they get that little power rush of picking on someone weaker than they are. And what I did was I started out, you know, I didn't start with violence, but I went over to this girl's desk, and she had a couple of papers stapled together, and I just picked up the papers and I went, bleep, unstapled them, dropped them on the desk, went back to my seat. And she came over and after this and like karate chopped me in like the, I don't know, like the shoulder, the back of the head, I can't remember. Wasn't a very effective attack. I got up, and it was a girl, but, you know, at this point I'm defending myself, and we went to town. You know, it was a full-on brawl. And I punched her. I think I actually punched her to sort of start the actual fight, but she'd already, you know, karate chopped me in the back, so at that point I think I pretty much had, you know, the right thing. But basically, you know, it was ugly. It kind of turned into a girly fight because there was a lot of hair pulling. And my punch didn't really land very well. It's kind of harder to land a punch than you think it is. And I pulled the F out of her hair so hard. I mean, I was just trying. That was as evil as I've ever been in my life. During that fight, I just wanted to inflict pain because I had it up to here. Had it. I was done. And it was a nasty brawl, and we got separated. Some couple of guys in my class pulled me off the girl. And you know what happened after that? No one gave me crap. No one. You know why? Because they knew that at that point I had exhibited my power. I had shown that I would not be pushed around, that I was going to stand up for myself, and that there would be consequences, physical consequences, if you gave me shit. And unfortunately, that didn't last. It only lasted to the end of junior high. By the time I went to high school, I was with a bunch of new kids who didn't particularly know me, and I dealt with some teasing in high school. It wasn't as bad, really just freshman year. After that, kids tend to mature and they get a little bit better. But for the rest of that junior high school year, all the kids saw what I did, and they respected my boundaries. You know, they didn't push it anymore. They saw what I was capable of, and that's what you have to do. You have to make kids aware of what you're capable of. And it has to be violence. And I know that's going to rub some people the wrong way. And everyone would like to believe that there's a better way to do this. You're in the jungle. And the only way to make your presence felt in the jungle is to put on a show of strength. And it can either be, you know, obviously if there's other ways to show strength, if that's possible, fine. But, you know, it seems like the only strength people respect, especially in high school, you know, why do you think, you know, football players, basketball players, those are the popular kids in junior high school? Because it's a physical, you know, kids at that age aren't sophisticated. Everything is based on your physical abilities, your physical performance. So if you can, you know, make a name for yourself as somebody who can physically kick your ass, if you, you know, irritate them enough, then you will be respected. People don't want to take that risk. So, you know, I know that you're going to say, well, I'll be suspended from school, I'll be expelled, you know. You know, you can get hurt, obviously. You have to learn how to fight first. I mean, I was a big guy, and the girl I was going up against didn't have a lot of fighting skills. So first, you know, obviously you're going to want to take some... Generally, it's good. Ask your parents first for you know, martial arts lessons. Some martial art where you feel like you can be proficient enough to cause some real damage to people. Or, you know, you don't want to kill people, obviously, but you want to make them feel pain, serious pain. And as long as you think you have, once you have those skills to cause physical pain, then, you know, you don't want to use them, obviously, unless you're pushed, you know, to a limit. But if it's getting to the point where, you know, you're being teased, you're being mocked and made to feel like crap, and it's gotten to the point where it's damaging your psyche, please do something about it, and do something violent about it. Don't allow yourself to have your confidence destroyed year after year, because it'll affect you the rest of your life like it affects me. And I wish I'd fought the first year. I wish I'd fought in 6th grade. And you know, honestly, I wish I'd been, because I wasn't expelled. I was suspended for a day, and I went back to school. They say it's a mark on your record. BS. You know, the only record that matters is the grades you get in high school, pretty much. The grades you get in high school and your SAT scores or ACT scores or whatever. That's the only thing people pay attention to. Obviously, if you have a criminal record, that could be, somewhat problematic. But usually, you're not going to get, a criminal record for having a fight in school. So, so basically, just do what you have to do, and don't let people, push you around. As soon as you, feel like it's starting to affect your psyche, as soon as you go home crying because you've been teased, to the nth degree enough times, then stand up for yourself, and so you may get suspended, even if you get expelled. If you get expelled, what's the worst thing that happens? Maybe you preserve your psyche and you go on and you go to a place where you can be homeschooled and won't have to deal with asshole kids, or maybe you switch to another school where, I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's other ways to learn. You don't have to worry. I doubt you're going to be expelled for one fight. But even if you have one fight and you cause some damage, you'll show people. But make sure you have the skills before you get into a fight, because you don't want to get your ass handed to you. That's only going to make things worse. And sorry, parents. I know this isn't what you want to hear, but this is the truth. And if you don't want your kids fighting, then you go out and you figure out a way to stop the other kid, because just telling your kid to let it, be like water off the back, doesn't work, parents. Let your kids stand up for themselves, and kids, learn how to defend yourselves. And that, that's both defend yourself from physical and verbal attacks, because you don't want to be pissed on forever. You have to stand up for yourself in the world, because no one's giving you any break for being weak.